It has been a busy summer here on the Florida homestead. So busy, in fact, that we haven't had much time to plant any gardens. We have a very little bit of vegetables growing here on the farm. We've got... These guys are finishing eating their breakfast, so they're licking the remains of the grain out of the trough here. The girls get a little bit of grain every day. It compromises about 15% of their diet, just enough to make sure that they're healthy and hearty, but the rest of the nutrition that they get is from grass, so they're mostly grass-fed. But anyways, we haven't really had a chance to plant true vegetables here, and we have all these raised beds ready to rock and roll. I've got a huge mound of compost ready to rock and roll, so it's time to get our fall garden planted. Now today we're gonna be doing just that. I'm gonna be getting Amanda out here, we're gonna be getting the kids out here, and I've got a cool new garden cart thanks to Vevor that we're gonna be checking out. We're gonna use that to help us along. It's time to get some veggies growing on the Florida homestead. Fall is rapidly coming. So come on, without further ado, let's dive in. Now, if there's one thing that we really have been slacking a bit on here on the Florida homestead, it's been our vegetable gardens. We've had a lot of cattle that we've been taking care of. We've been breeding them, taking care of the calves, figuring out how to take them to auction. We've got 17 chickens right now, but we haven't been planting vegetables, and fall is upon us. Fall in Central Florida is one of the best times to plant vegetables, so we had to get these gardens cleaned, prepared, and ready for planting. Now, thankfully, we wouldn't have to do it alone because we had a little bit of help today from this awesome garden cart that we were given by Vevor. And if you're interested in this, I'll have a link below the video you can check out later, and you can see just how to get one of your own. The cart came in, and it was really easy to put together. There was only about, I would say, 10 pieces total in the entirety of the garden cart box that needed to be assembled. So you've got these 4 wheels, and the wheels pop onto the frame, which the frame itself comes together. It's really only about 3 pieces total. So you go ahead, you pop them right in, you go ahead and put those nuts on to secure them in place, and the wheels go together with these little pins. So we got the wheels on, we got the bottom part of the frame together, and all that was really left to put together were the sides. So once you get the handle on there, the sides, they just slip right in. And these little pins, as you can see here, these pins pop right through these grooves, and it secures the sides in place. And it's really neat because if you need to, you can collapse the front, back, or the sides. So if you had something heavy, or depending on what you were doing with the cart, you can actually kind of transform it to suit your needs. So it's a really cool garden cart. Can't thank Vevor enough. And with the cart put together, it was time to get to work. So I called Amanda, I called Robbie and Emery, and it was time to have some fun outside on one of the cooler summer days that we've had. We had a hot summer this year in Florida, but thankfully today it was down in the low to mid 80s, which is just wonderful. And I was able to take Robbie and Emery out for some rides on the tractor, as you can see here. And you know, one day when I get older, they're gonna need to be the ones that drive the tractor. So it was about time that we started teaching them how to drive this thing. And anytime you can get the kids outside, it's always good. So we were getting them outside, getting some fresh air. I had Emery and Robbie helping me with filling up these beds. Now, we really have no shortage of compost here on the homestead because, well, we had 11 cattle, now we have 6, but they produce a lot of manure. So instead of just, you know, getting rid of that manure, kind of raking it all out into the pastures, we do rake some of it out into the pastures, but a good amount of it we save to make compost. So we use, you know, old cow hay, we use cow manure, we mix that together and we get this compost. And the compost, truthfully, is quite rich. So it's been a bit of a learning experience finding out exactly what will grow directly in the compost. But we're gonna be doing some experiments here with that this fall as well. Some things take really well to it, other things, it doesn't quite have the right nutrient balance that it would prefer. So we had Amanda and the kids out here. We got this area all weeded up. We got those beds full of compost. And then I had an idea. I said, you know what? We got this new Vevor cart that we just put together. I've got some old bags of mulch lying around. Let's go ahead and grab that mulch And we went ahead, we got the mulch, and I lined the outside of our raised beds with it, just because, you know, I wanted to delay having to deal with all those weeds again. And so this mulch should do a nice job. Makes it look kind of nice too, but it should do a good job in keeping the weeds away from those beds for at least a couple months, I would hope. So the cart handled those bags like a champ. I went ahead and started spreading it out along the beds, and Amanda started planting our fall vegetables. So she planted some squash, some butternut squash, as you can see here. We also planted some cauliflower, and we also planted a bunch of carrots in one of the larger raised beds, one of the circular raised beds that you don't quite see here on the screen. So we got a lot of our fall veggies in all, it was a great day outside. You know, me and my wife got some fresh air. The kids got some fresh air. They got to do some work outside with us. And beautiful late summer day here on the Florida homestead. Now I'm holding a leaf here from one of our zucchini plants, and it's actually covered in these tiny little eggs from some kind of an insect pest. And I've had a problem with growing zucchini here in Central Florida before due to just this. You get a couple weeks or even a couple months where they haven't quite detected the fact that you're growing zucchini yet. Everything seems great. The vines are growing, the leaves are growing very broad, and you've even got some blossoms and some fruits growing, or zucchinis, vegetables. But then once these pests find out that the zucchini's there, they start laying their eggs all over the leaves, and I'll actually show you a close-up of what that looks like. And time again, that has been the deciding factor that's kept us from growing zucchini or squash here. But we've got this spray that we've been using now. It's either permectin or permethrin, one of the two, but it really does a great job of keeping them in check, and it looks like we're gonna have a good haul of zucchinis and squash for this fall. We've already got a few already. Looking forward to cooking those tonight, actually. So it's always a good day when you can get some raised beds planted. We've got some more squash going. We've got some more carrots going. It's going to be a good fall. We're going to have a lot of vegetables. And to be fair, we're going to have a lot of beef too, because one of our big boys out in the pasture there is going to be put in the freezer not too long from now. So we're going to be enjoying the bounty of our harvest, so to speak, very soon, just a couple months from now, in more ways than one. So I had a good afternoon. The kids had a good afternoon. It's always good to get out and get your garden going. You know, it gets all full of weeds and you feel like you've fallen behind on it. Just jump out there and get it done. It only takes about an afternoon and you've got things up and running again. Thank you so much to Vevor for that awesome garden cart. That's going to come in handy in more ways than one. And until I see you guys next time, this is Justin from Florida Homestead. God bless you. Have a fantastic rest of your day. Take care, y'all. Bye-bye.